So you've been putting in months of work, maybe even years, but you're still not seeing the growth that you want, which is pretty frustrating. I've already been through that. You're being consistent, you feel like you're being disciplined, but you're not seeing any kind of results. Well, today what I want to do is go over 3 reasons that you might not be growing, stuff that might be holding you back. Because here's the thing, if you don't fix these mistakes, you're literally going to be walking in circles. All right, you're going to waste months, maybe even years, and in your mind, you're doing everything right on paper, but you really have no gains to actually show for it. And that's the fastest way to burn out, because the best way not to burn out is to see results. Once you see that results, you'll gain that motivation to keep on going. But if you're not seeing any kind of fucking results, why the hell would you keep on going? Right? So this video is going to give you 3 things to watch out for so you don't end up quitting and wasting your time. Right? So number one, reason number one is you keep changing routines before even giving them time to produce results. You have to understand that with PE, it ain't no fucking scam. It isn't 3 inches in 1 month. You know what I mean? We're talking about minimal gains. Like realistically, you should be looking at like an eighth of an inch per month on the lower end. If you've been doing PE for a while, if you're a beginner, you can actually expect a little bit more. But it's not what this video is about. You have to understand that you have to give a good amount of time to these routines and actually give them months to actually show you if they're going to make you grow or not. Okay? And if you are doing a routine and then 2 weeks later you're switching over to another routine, and like, what are you doing? You're literally doing nothing. That's what you're doing, you know? So you're not going to grow at all with this. Whenever you try out a new routine, actually give it some time to actually show you and give it a chance to actually make you grow. Because if you keep switching, then you're not really giving it a fair chance, okay? So once you start off a new routine, try it out, give it a few months, and if it makes you grow, cool. If it doesn't, then switch. That's the only time you should switch. Obviously, if your routine's dog shit from the very beginning, you're not going to grow shit at all. That's a different problem for a different video, right? So let's move on to the next one, which is copying other people's routines. This is like the most beginner shit. Now, obviously, if it's your first month in PE, then, don't feel bad about doing this. You're a beginner. It's really easy, to see other people gaining and then be like, what's your routine, bro? What's your routine? Oh, you've gained length. What's your routine, bro? Like trying to copy other people's shit. um yeah, I guess that's normal, but if you aren't a beginner and you're still copying other people's routines, that's retarded. Like, just because it works for somebody else doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Okay? PE is all about learning the fundamentals, right? Just laying down the foundation and then building up on that based on your personal results, not other people's results, your results. That's what it's all about. Because PE is not a one size fits all. If it was a one size fits all, literally, there would be one post on getting on the subreddit. You know, it's not a one size fits all. If it was, everybody and their dad would be growing, but it's not. It's a specific kind of thing that you have to look forward to or look for. In terms of your routine, some people grow with this, some people grow with that. Some people need this much weight, some people need that much weight. Some people need to do this much time, that guy has to do less or more, whatever, but it's all about what makes you grow, not anybody else. There's literally no point in copying other people's routines because that's not for you, period. So stop copying other people's routines. And plus, before we get into the third reason, um another reason why you shouldn't copy other people's routines, and it's a very dangerous thing to do for beginners, is overwork, right? So imagine for 1 second that I walk into, like, let's say I've never worked out before and I went into a gym and I see this big dude with a big chest and I'm like, man, I want a chest just like that. Hey bro, what's your routine? What's your, like, how do you build your chest? And he's like, oh man, I do 250 pounds bench press for 4 sets of 10 or whatever, right? If I go and copy him, I'm gonna be crushed. I can't just copy his routine and think that I'm gonna be able to do it and I'm just gonna get his gains. It doesn't work like that. I have to build up to that weight. And it's the same thing it's the same thing with PE. Beginners are out here copying the routines of other people who have been doing PE for 4 years, and then get injured, right? So some other guy's hanging whatever amount, like 12 pounds, and then a beginner's doing that shit on the first week and hurting himself. And it's the same exact thing with pumping. There's this shit going around that 10 HG is like the minimal HG that you should be using to pump. I mean, you got guys like me that all of my girth gains have been with under 6 HG. you know? Not everybody needs 10 HG. Um, so, you got a beginner that sees that shit that says, oh, 10 HG, that's the minimum. And then they try it out and then they, get burst capillaries, blood spots, whatever. So whenever you are a beginner, if you are a beginner, doesn't matter if you've been doing PE for 3 years or if you just found out about PE at the beginning of this video. It's all about starting off really, really low, right? Low intensity, low weight, low pressure, all that shit. And then slowly building up and actually giving your body a chance to show you, hey, this is what's going to make me grow. This is how much I can handle so I can't get injured, right? So stop copying other people's routine. It's retarded. Reason number 3 is analysis paralysis, right? So you're kind of like this guy that you're seeing on the screen. You're looking at this routine, looking at that routine. This guy said this, and this guy said that. This Reddit comment said this. This YouTube comment said that. You're never gonna start, right? This is PE. It's not the most complicated thing in the world. It's not rocket science, okay? It's not that hard to grow with PE. But I understand that when you first, when you're going so much time without any kind of growth and you're putting in work, and you're not seeing any kind of results like you are, then I understand why you would go and start researching this and researching that, trying to get out of that hole that you're in. And then you end up seeing so much information and so much conflicting information that you just don't know where to go next. That's completely fine, but you are in analysis paralysis and you can stay here for fucking months and years and never grow anything. Okay, so this is not a good state to be in. So watch out for that. So if you ever catch yourself in, or if you ever feel like you just don't know where to go, you're looking at a direction sign that has a bunch of different arrows going different ways, then it's time to take a deep breath and go back to the fundamentals. All right, literally, it doesn't matter if you've been analysis paralysis for 1 month or 1 year. Just start all over, go back to the fundamentals, and start back up from there. That's all you have to do. Okay. Now, those are just the 3 reasons. So let's just go ahead and recap. You got keep changing routines before giving them time to produce results. You got copying other people's routines. You got analysis paralysis. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So here's the thing. If you want real results, stop, you got to stop program hopping. You got to stop copying routines. You got to stop overanalyzing stuff. The solution is so simple. It's so simple. It's pick a proven plan, stick with it long enough, and focus on progression instead of perfection. Okay? Don't throw away the good for the perfect. That's something that people need to understand. People are like, optimize this, optimize that. Bro, you haven't even grown anything and you're talking about optimizing, you know? So, and you got to understand too that this isn't theory, okay? This isn't some, again, this isn't like a theory that I have. I've seen this firsthand. I've gone through it. I've gone months without growing as well. I've gone through the analysis paralysis. I've gone through the copying other people's routines and switching routines before even, like, this is nothing new to me. I started PE 3 years ago, right? And I've seen so many people that have done this. You know, and once I stopped making these mistakes myself, that's when I finally broke that plateau of months of not growing anything and seeing no kind of measurable growth. And, I've watched other people, I've helped other people, apply the same exact approach and, they get results immediately. So, if you're tired of like walking in circles, spinning your wheels, whatever, and you want like a proven, step-by-step system, literally all you have to do to watch my step-by-step guide is just click the link in the description, and that's where the full video guide is at. So you don't have to waste another month like guessing and trying new shit out and trial and error. Obviously this is my very biased solution. But yeah, that's what I recommend you do. So you don't have to, waste any more time going through trial and error, and you can finally start seeing growth now instead of, months from now, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I just wanted to go over those 3 things, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye.